friends, and welcome back to my crafty space where I share my memory keeping projects and processes with all of you. If this is your first time here, hello and welcome. My name is Crystal and I am so excited that you are all here today. Today I am working on my fourth story using the Ali Edwards Rest Story Kit for the storykitcrush challenge. Now, if you are new to the storykitcrush challenge, the whole idea is to pull out a kit from your stash. I am using the Ali Edwards story kits, but you can use whatever kit you've got to pull that out from your stash and do your best to use up the entire kit throughout the course of the month. So I have at this point crushed 3 story kits, and this is my 4th story kit I'm working on and my 4th story with that story kit. So let me tell you a little bit about what I've got here on my desk. So for this kit, I am using the digitals. I actually don't own the physical kit for this collection. I only have the digitals. So I took these would have been die cuts originally. So I took these die cuts, I sized them down a little bit and printed these on fabric paper just to give a little bit of a different texture on my spread for today. So I've got all 12 of the die cuts. I've got 12 little photos that correspond to the die cuts. I've got 12 little journaling sections that also correspond to the die cuts. And then I have this background page that I'm going to use to assemble all of these pieces on. In addition to all of this stuff, I also cut out the word around here using my silhouette. Now this was originally a die that you could purchase, but the digital version is basically like word art. So I used that word art to create a cut file for silhouette, and then I cut each word out 3 times so I could layer them up and create some dimension. So before I get started actually assembling this, let me take you guys over to the computer so I can show you how I actually took the different components from the digital kit to create the elements that you see here. Then we're going to come back over here and I will put this spread together, and then we'll slow down, close everything up once I have the spread done. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay friends, so before we get to assembling our project for today, first I want to come over here on my computer, this is Photoshop Creative Cloud, and show you guys how I created some of these hybrid products. So how I made them digitally and then printed them off in order to use them for my project today. So I am working with the Rest Story Kit, and I was intrigued by these little icon pieces from the kit. Now, I believe if you got the physical kit, these were potentially acetate pieces. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember what they were, but I really liked them. I liked their boldness. There's 12 of them, I believe. And I really enjoyed them. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the actual kit here. We can find out. Or are they acetate? Transparencies, they're in here, embellishments, and phrase stickers, no, die cuts? They were die cuts. Okay, so they were die cuts. Now, these die cuts are sized at, over here you can see they're 2:11 by 2:11, but if you were to crop them to 2 inches by 2 inches, that's essentially what these were. They were 2 inches by 2 inches. Now, I wanted to create a page where I used these pieces to flip out and reveal a photo that relates to it and journaling that relates to it underneath, and then to have those on a page in a grid-like form. So let's undo that real quick. Let me open up what this spread is going to end up looking like. So this ultimately became the idea that I super loved. So each of these little squares is going to flip open, and underneath will be a photo and journaling. So what I did here is I took those die cuts here and I cropped them to 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. And then because I wanted the actual square to be a true 1.5 by 1.5, I just narrowed or shrunk down my crop window, hit the enter button, and now this square right here is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So if I were to take this and paste it onto my page here, it would perfectly, go on top of one of the ones I've got on there. So that's the first thing I did. I took all 12 of them, cropped them to 1.5 inch square, and then put those on a canvas to print out. And those I actually printed out on what do I want to call it? On fabric paper. So that's a new texture for me that I'm really excited to work with. And I'll show you more when we get to the table on that. But so these 8 icons are printed using fabric paper. So then the photos that are going underneath, pretty simple. You know, I just have the images that I chose. Again, I cropped those to 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. Did some, small edits or whatever and called that a day. So those I printed out on printer paper, and those will fit underneath each of those because they're 1.5 inch. Now, if I need to trim a little bit extra off, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. We'll figure that out as we go when we get to the table. Then I wanted to create some interest to the background instead of it just being totally white. So what I ended up doing was grabbing one of the add-on cards. Let's go back to the kit again here. So I grabbed one of these add-on cards. It looks like this. It's just this plain like yellow grid lines. And then what I did is I cropped this to 1.5 inch, or it's 6.875 because that's the size of my actual canvas there, and then 1.5 inch tall. So when I hit enter on that, it's going to give me this long skinny piece here. So then I can just copy that, and we're going to paste it over here. You know what? I made it even smaller. How big did I make this? Let's find out. So you are roughly 1 inch, not 1.5 inches, 1 inch. So let's try that again. We're going to clear this, put 6.875 by 1, 300 pixels per inch, and let's go ahead and hit that enter button. So we're going to copy this and paste it over here, and I did one on the bottom and one on the top. So that just gave this a little bit more interest. And what I will do here, I should probably open up my Photoshop document. That way I can move the pieces around for you. So let's do that as well. There we go. So the around here stamps, I will actually remove off of the background. I will remove all of the squares, and then I'm going to print it, my canvas, I'm just going to print it with the white, the yellow grid, and this currently I am stamp. Now let me show you guys how I made this currently I am stamp, because that actually came from this kit as well. So if you go into the digital stamps, there is this stamp set right here. It says currently I am letting go of. Now I didn't really want to say letting go of, I just wanted to say currently I am. So what I did is I took the stamp, grabbed my eraser, and I just erased these words right here, this letting go of. Then I took my marquee tool and just grabbed the semicolon here, right click and layer via cut. Then I can grab my move tool and just move this over so that it's in line with the rest of the stamp. And then last but not least, I will merge those two layers together, and now I have this new stamp that I can copy and paste, where I want it to go. Oops, I don't know what I just did. What did I just do? That seemed really weird. I don't know. Anyway, so we'll paste it on here. Stop it. Paste it on here. And then I can go ahead and move it and resize it however big or small I want it. So that is how I got this stamp right up here. Let's get rid of that now. That's how I got this. So then these words right here, this around here, was a stamp set. Or it actually might have been an add-on to the kit. Let's go back to the rest kit. So yes, I think it was a die that you could get. But in the digital form, it's just like word art here. So if I grab the two words around and here, what I did is I copied these and put them onto my spread so that, because as you can see here, when I bring it in, it is ginormous. So I just shrunk it down to the size that I was comfortable with for both of them. So around, and then I did the same thing for the word here. So let's move that up and shrink you down. Okay. Right, so we've got around in here. Now let's just pretend, that those are the ones. Then what I could do is I grabbed the around and the here layers and I copied them. Then I opened a new canvas, just a 6x4, and I pasted it right on here. So the reason I did this is because I wanted to know I wanted this to be the exact right size. So then I saved this as just as a 6x4 like image or a PNG. So then, because I want to turn this into a cut file, I opened up my Silhouette program and opened that same file that we just made. So this around here, it's a JPEG. Nope, that is wrong. Wrong. Oh, yes, okay. Let's try that again. I want the PNG. That's what I want, is the PNG, because the PNG comes in at the right size, that 6x4 size. So then I can grab my trace tool, select my trace area, and grab the around here word. It's going to highlight it yellow, which lets me know that that's what it's going to trace. I'm going to hit the trace button, and then I can delete the original file, and now I've got my cut file. So I actually just copied this and pasted it 3 times. So I had 3 of them, and I will cut those out of black cardstock and layer them up to give them a little bit of dimension. So yes, so that is what is going to happen with the around here word. I believe that is all the components for this project. So I'm going to meet you back at the table once I get everything printed, and we will go ahead and get this page assembled. All right, you guys, so let's just jump right into this process now that we've got everything printed. So first thing I'm going to do here is get all of these pieces trimmed out and ready to go. I made myself a template for punching holes with the pages that I have cut to the same size as the protector. So I just grabbed my template, put that over, and then lined up the holes there so I could get them punched. Now I wanted to do that first, like the very first thing, because that's going to help me position all of the rest of the components on the page without having them interfere with the holes. Now the next thing I'm going to do is get all of my journaling trimmed out. Now this I actually forgot to talk to you guys about when we were doing the computer stuff, but what I did to create these journaling spaces is I created a canvas that was 3 inches wide by 1.5 inches tall. So then I could add my journaling to 1/2 of it. So that would be 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And then the other half of it is where I will tape my photos down onto it. So when I cut them out, they are longer than they are tall. So just a heads up that was something I did prepare ahead of time, and I did think about ahead of time. So, yep, just getting everything trimmed. This is the last one of these. And then I'm going to go and grab my scoring board so I can score all of those journaling pieces in half at that 1.5 inch mark. I don't remember where I saw it, but I saw this tip where you can score. I'm trying to think. You can score on the side that you eventually want to be the outside fold. So you would score it down the middle and then fold it one way and then fold it the other way. And if any of the paper fibers break, then the outside is still really nice and sturdy. I can't remember where I saw that. Anyway, that's besides the point. So I got everything scored and folded. Then I made my piles so I could match up the journaling with the photos, with the icons or the die cuts that I had there. And then from there, I can work on actually assembling all of these different pieces. So I did decide to go ahead and get my title worked on. So this is the title that I I cut out on my Silhouette. So I'm just going to use my Tombow Mono liquid adhesive to glue all of those layers together. This is going to give my title a little bit more dimension, making it look almost like chipboard, but not quite. It'll make it pop out a little bit better from my page and help things to not look so flat. So I'm going to do that for the around and the here, get all of that glued together, and then I am going to assemble these little flippy books. So on the inside left is where the journaling is going to go. Then I went ahead and adhered my photo to the right side of the inside. And then when it's folded, I adhere the icon or that die cut piece to the outside. So when this page is all assembled, all of the icons are what you will see, and then you can flip them up to see the photo and the journaling underneath. Once I have all of those assembled, then I'm going to pull over my whole my whole page and get everything adhered onto that page. All of those little square bits. And I did end up having to use a ruler in order to help me get everything straight on there. I stuck one down initially, and then I was worried that I probably stuck it down crooked. So I pulled it back up, grabbed my ruler, and then used that along with the guidelines on my cutting mat in order to get everything on there straight. I don't have one of those T-square rulers. I definitely need to get one though, because that would have been helpful. But you know, this works too, to use just a regular old ruler and get them on there that way. So to get these positioned right, I first start with the leftmost one. That helps me kind of steer clear of those holes that we punched earlier. Then I'm going to put on the square to the very far right, and then I'll put in the middle ones, and from there I will work my way down. So I just wanted to try and get everything as close to even as possible on here, and this worked pretty well for me. So while I'm getting that done, and then I will also put my title down. So while I'm getting all of that adhered on here, let me just kind of talk to you about the different things that I journaled about. So my title for this piece is Around Here Currently I Am. And so then for each of the icons, I went through my photos and just grabbed one that kind of went with it. So some examples. The flower one in the upper left-hand corner, I have a picture of flowers that I took from a walk that we went on, and my journaling just says, loving looking at all the new flower blooms on our walks and taking photos to capture their beauty. Another one that's a good one, I mean, they're all good, right? But I have one on the bottom that's got the scissors and the comb. And for this one, I chose a picture of Jonah sitting on my lap right after I had given his bangs a haircut. And my journaling says, learning that my talent does not lie in cutting hair, as I've totally botched poor Jonah's bangs. Oops. Yeah, that's a whole story in itself. I should probably make a whole page about that because that's just a funny story. But yeah, you guys, I tried to cut Jonah's bangs because his hair was totally in his eyes all the time. And I cut them. Like, his hair is no longer in his eyes, but his bangs are also like way too high on his forehead. I probably should have watched a YouTube video or something on how to do that before I tried it, but hey, you know what? It makes for a good story later. So that's just some examples. I do have more pictures and close-ups on my Instagram account, so you can definitely go check them out there. The last couple things I'm going to do here are just add a date stamp. I did not realize my date stamp was set to 2019, so I did just use a pen to change it to 2020. No big deal. And then I added a chipboard and called this spread done. All right, friends, so that completes this spread for today. This turned out really fun and interactive, and I love all the little like flippy bits here. Super fun. I really, really wanted to challenge myself to use these icons, and I think that this turned out really cool looking, if I do say so myself. And also the fabric texture is just awesome on here. Like, it's something you can't really, I don't think you're going to be able to see it very well on the camera, but in person it just is like, I don't know, it's so textile. I really love it. All right, so that is going to do it for this story. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see all of my future crafty videos. I will link any of the supplies that I used in this project down below in case you are curious to check into any of that. And I hope you guys feel inspired to break into your older kits and get those stories told. All right, I will be back again tomorrow with another couple pages in the Traveler's Notebook that I've been working on. So hopefully I will see you guys back here then. Until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye now.